Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I will be doing a video walkthrough of official guide to IELTS test 1 reading passage 1. I have an announcement. If this channel reaches 100 subscribers, I will launch a free IELTS reading question types course on YouTube. So consider subscribing to my channel, liking the video, and comment below. So let's begin. The Dover Bronze Age boat, a beautifully preserved boat made around 3,000 years ago and discovered by chance in a muddy hole, has had a profound impact on archaeological research. So now let's have a look at the questions. We have one, two, three types of questions. First one is flowchart completion. Choose one word only. So here we have key events. Here we have years. So it's gonna be these years are gonna be unchangeable keywords, which are so easy to find. The boat was discovered during the construction of some sort of a place. We need a singular noun, which has to be a place. An international something. Here we need a singular noun, and it has to be some sort of a place or meeting. I don't know, was held to gather information. In 2004, something for the reconstruction were produced. The something of boat 1550 BC took place. The Bronze Age something featured the boats and other objects. So the next question type in this passage is true, false, not given. Archaeologists realizes that the boat had been damaged on purpose. Initially, only the technical aspects of the boat were examined. Archaeologists went back to the site to try and find the missing northern end of the boat. Evidence found in 2004 suggested that the Bronze Age boat had been used for trade. We have to find whether it was used for trade or not. No more than three words, and it's and short answer questions. How far under the ground was the boat found? So here we need some sort of a measurement. What natural material had been secured to the boat to prevent water entering? What aspect of the boat was the focus of the 2012 reconstruction? Unchangeable keyword here is 2012. Which two factors influenced the decision not to make a full-scale reconstruction of the boat? So now let's start reading the passage. It was 1992, so here we have the very first key event, and it is 1992. In England, workmen were building a new road through the heart of Dover to connect the ancient ports and the Channel Tunnel, which, when it opened just 2 years ago, was to be the first land link between Britain and Europe for over 10,000 years. The boat was discovered, right, when workmen were building a new road. So building means constructing. So yeah, so the answer for question number one is road. I'm gonna write here road. Where was I? Uh-huh. A small team from the Canterbury Archaeological Trust (CAT) worked alongside the workmen, recording new discoveries brought to light by the machines. At the base of a deep shaft 6 meters below the modern streets, a wooden structure was revealed. Cleaning away the waterlogged site overlying the timbers, archaeologists realized its true nature. So, if you remember here, we had how far under the ground was the boat found? It was found 6 meters below, right? So, the answer for question number 10 is coming from this part of the passage, and the answer is 6 meters below. It doesn't matter whether you write meters in this way or in the way that I wrote before. Okay, so purpose, nothing about this yet. So let's continue reading the passage. Cleaning away the waterlogged site overlying the timbers, archaeologists realized its true nature. They had found a prehistoric boat, preserved by the type of sediment in which it was buried. It was then named the Dover Bronze Age boat. About 9 meters of the boat's length was recovered. One end lay beyond the excavation and had to be left. What survived consisted essentially of four intricately carved oak planks, two on the bottom joined along a central seam by a complicated system of wedges and timbers, and two at the side curved and stitched to the others. The seams had been made watertight by pads of moss fixed by wedges and U stitches. So let's have a look at these. I mean, watertight means prevent water entering. So what natural material had been secured to prevent water entering? Uh, by pads of moss. So the answer for question number 11 is moss. Okay, so let's continue reading. The timbers that closed that recovered end of the boat had been removed in antiquity when it was abandoned, but much about its original shape could be deduced. There was also evidence for missing upper side planks. The boat was not a wreck, but it had been deliberately discarded, dismantled, and broken. Deliberately discarded means damage it on purpose, right? Here we have damage it on purpose. Archaeologists realized that the boat had been damaged on purpose. Uh, Here we have archaeologists. Oh, it's just like had the boat been damaged on purpose? Yes, right? So the answer for question number 6 is true. I'm gonna type here true. Initially, one of the technological aspects of the boat were examined. Uh-huh. Perhaps it had been ritually killed at the end of its life, like other Bronze Age objects. So, with hindsight, it was significant that the boat was found and studied by mainstream archaeologists who naturally focused on its cultural context. At the time, oh wait, here we have something about what was examined. Initially, they only focused on its cultural context, right? Archaeologists who naturally focused on its cultural context. So, were only the technological aspects of the boat examined? No, right? Only the cultural context of the boat were examined initially. So the answer for question number 7 is coming from this part of the passage, and the answer is false. Okay, so let's continue reading. At the time, ancient boats were often considered only from a narrow technological perspective, but the news about the Dover boat reached a broad audience. In 2002, do we have that year here? Yes, we have it. In 2002, on the 10th anniversary of the discovery on the Dover Bronze Age boat, Trust hosted a conference where this meeting of different traditions became apparent along. So here what hosted means held to gather information, um, become apparent. So uh, an international means alongside technical papers about the boats, other speakers explored its social and economic context about and the religious perceptions about of boats in Bronze Age societies. Many speakers came from overseas, right? Oh, came from overseas means international, and debate about culture connections was renewed. So, what was held? A conference was held to gather information alongside technical papers about them. They explored uh, social and economic contexts, right? So, what was held? A conference, right? An international means overseas. So the answer for question number 2 is conference. Mhm. Okay, let's continue reading the passage. Within 7 years of excavation, the Dover boats had been conserved and displayed. But it was apparent that there were issues that could not be resolved simply by studying the old wood. Experimental archaeology seemed to be the solution. A boat reconstruction how scale of full size it would permit assessment of different hypotheses regarding its build and the missing end. The possibility of returning to Dover to search for the boat's unexcavated uh, northern end was explored, but practical and financial difficulties were insurmountable, and there was no guarantee that the timbers had survived the previous decade in the changed environment. Did archaeologists go back to the site to try and find the missing northern end of the boat? They did not, because practical and financial difficulties were unsurmountable, and there was no guarantee that those timbers had survived. Right. So the answer for question number 8 is false. because they did not go back. Detailed proposals to reconstruct the boat were drawn up in 2004. So here we have 2004, and even here, I guess we have, yes, we have that here as well for question number 3. What for the reconstruction were produced? Detailed proposals, right? Proposals were produced for the reconstruction means to reconstruct. We need we need to choose one word only, so I'm gonna choose just proposals, not detailed proposals. So drawn up means produced. So the answer for question number 3 is proposals. Do we have that here? No. Evidence found in 2004 suggested that the Bronze Age boat had been used for trade. Let's continue reading the passage, this paragraph to know. Archaeological evidence was beginning to suggest a Bronze Age community straddling the channel, brought together by the sea, rather than separated by it in a region today divided by languages and borders. Archaeologists had a duty to inform the general public about their common cultural heritage. Is there anything about its use for trade? No, right? In this paragraph, there was nothing about whether it was used for trade or not. That boat was used for trade or not. There is nothing about that. So the answer for question number 9 is not given. So which questions are left? These two and these two. Okay, so let's continue reading the passage. The boat's project began in England, but it was conceived from the start as a European collaboration. Reconstruction was only part of a scheme that would include a major exhibition and an extensive educational and outreach program. Discussions began in early 2005 with archaeological bodies, universities, and heritage organizations either side of the channel. There was much enthusiasm and support, and an official launch of the program was held at an international seminar in France in 2007. Do we have 2007 or 2005? Here we have 2007. What of the boat 1550 BC took place? Uh, Financial support was confirmed in 2008, and the project, then named Boat 1550 BC, got underway in June 2011. Affirmed. The sampling of boats 1550 took place. The um, is it project? I guess it's a project. Oh no, the launch of the project. Why? Because the project is both 1550 BC, right? So we don't so what took place? The launch of that project. A project is both 1550 BC, and that launch took place right in 2007. So the answer for question number 4 is launch. small team began to make the boat at the start of 2012 on the Roman lawn outside Dover Museum. A full-scale reconstruction of a midsection had been made in 1996, primarily to see how Bronze Age replica tools performed. In 2012, however, the hull shape was at the center of the work, so modern power tools were used to carve the oak planks before turning to prehistoric tools for finishing. Uh, it was decided to make the replica half scale for reasons of cost and time, and synthetic materials were used for the stitching, owing to doubts about the scaling and tight timetable. The Bronze Age words featured the boat and other objects. Um, let's first read this. What aspect of the boat was the focus of the 2012 reconstruction? The hull shape, right? The hull shape. At the center of the work means focus of that reconstruction. Uh, so, yep, we can either write hull or hull shape. Let's write hull shape. Let me write it from here because there might not be enough space. Hull shape. Oh no, let's write hull itself. So, which two factors influenced the decision not to make a full-scale reconstruction of the boat? It was decided to make the replica half scale. They decided to do it half scale, not a full scale. Why? Because of cost and time. So, which two factors? Cost and time. Cost, time. So we have done true, false, not given, and short answer questions. So we are left with one flowchart completion question, which is question number 5. So let's continue reading the passage. You might have an answer from this last paragraph. Meanwhile, the exhibition was being prepared, ready for opening in July 2012 at the Castle Museum in Boulogne-sur-Mer, entitled Beyond the Horizon Societies of the Channel and North Sea 3,500 years ago. It brought together for the first time a remarkable collection of Bronze Age objects, including many new discoveries for commercial archaeology and some of the great treasure of the past. The reconstructed boats as a symbol of the maritime connections that bound together the communities either side of the channel was the centerpiece. So, what featured the boats and other objects? The exhibition, right? Yep. So, the answer for question number 5 is coming from this part of the passage, and the answer is exhibition. This concludes our today's video walkthrough.